Hello everyone, my name is Nebojša Matic, and hereby I'm applying to a project manager for a virtual proposal team position. I will proceed with the response to your questions so that I can try to respect the 5-minute limit. So, organizing the project, identifying resources, planning the time, and monitoring progress. So usually here I have a process that I follow for large-scale projects. Of course, I'm well able to cut it shorter when that is not really needed. In any case, I would usually start with data gathering process, define the roles and use cases. So let me try to show you how would that basically look. So these here are the use cases for EarnMakers project. Project in question is clientele loyalty, buyers loyalty platform on a large scale with post-back integrations with advertiser networks. So from there, I would go into a planning stage. If the complexity of the project requires it, I would go with sketching some of the UML diagrams. So, for example, here is one of those. And from there, I will try to determine the content checklist. So number of pages and their relations and hierarchy. From there, I would proceed to create user stories, something along the line of this, and I would organize them into epics and then versions. I would put in the relations between those tasks, assign them to specific people, and then together with project owner, determine priorities for the sprint. After that, I would go through points assignment and estimation process together with development team. And along the way, we will make sure to break down any issues that are very large and that cannot basically be completed within a day. From there, I would gather a list of needed features, basically functionalities that require custom coding and or third-party integrations, research, and so on. I would do some research on that myself. If I feel that I'm not competent and that it is too technical for me to estimate, I would delegate to relevant team members. After those steps, I would create a project summary, estimate features and pages item by item. Again, preferably, I would do this together with the team for more precise quotes. And usually I would add some, let's say 15 to 25% of padding, depending on the project complexity, technologies in use, and predictable and unpredictable risks. Upon approved quote, aka concluded sale, I would proceed with what I just showed you with setting this up in project management tool and planning sprints and executing them. I would run daily stand-up meetings with the team to track progress and resolve the blockers, as well as prioritize the task within that sprint. This ensures that I am up to date with current sprint progress. Once a week, I would do the backlog grooming together with the product owner, and at the end of each sprint, a team member would do a sprint demo, followed by sprint retrospective by whole team. This will help me see where the project is in relation to the global project roadmap. Question number 2. Time when I managed a group of people to achieve important outcome. How did I set objectives, etc., etc. So Basically, I am a supportive leader. I am there to make everyone's life and work easier by ensuring that the team reaches its peak production. And I achieve this by ensuring that the project plan is good, detailed, and that issues are not left to interpretation. Along with those, my main method is teaching, explaining the consequences and causalities that come from someone's work, whether they affect another team member or overall process. And with those things, I earn the respect of the team. So whenever I need an extra push, for example, when client has investor presentation and something needs to be finished, or when e-commerce features needs to be rolled out for Christmas sale or something like that, or any other tight deadline. So after the storm had passed, I'll also be the one to suggest stimulative bonuses for top performers to company or project owner. And from my experience, often it is not about additional financial gain, but about the appreciation of someone's hard work. Usually, those requests, when they come in, are conflicting with the planned sprint. And the hardest part of this is getting things back on track and into the structure. Also, we need to be very aware of the burnout so that people don't get demotivated. Third question. Describe a situation where you had to take prompt decisions, factors, and how did I assess the risks, and how comfortable I was with that. So basically, my long time experience enables me to be very decisive. I'll take the lead on deciding if the issue in question is minor or associated with smaller costs or risk. And when I face something larger, something that can be a project pitfall, I will not be afraid to state that it would require additional research or comparison versus the original project scope, or simply that I need to consult the experts for the specific area from my team. Question number 4, what information do you collect when you close the project? So basically, I'm always for creating more backups. Even if we have cloud and offsite backup, I would still put one copy of complete code in Dropbox or somewhere. I would gather the design content and other assets that might have been used within the project and haven't been backed up properly by the team. I would require team to create database diagram, for larger projects, class diagram as well. And at the end of each project, I always want to hear about how client is satisfied, as that gives me the ability to do upsell later. And I try to get the review online, and in the end of the project, when you have all those things, I will go through internal evaluation of that project with both team and higher management perspective. So, question number 5, what is the role of product owner and Scrum Master in Agile project? So, I like to call Scrum Master a master of ceremonies. He is there to facilitate day-to-day operations, resolve blockers, plan sprints, and basically, as I mentioned earlier, be a supporter of Scrum team by nurturing Agile principles and managing team's motivation. Product owner, on the other hand, is there to be a link between stakeholders in the team. So here we are optimizing the process by having one person represent all of the stakeholders, as it is much more efficient there. He's in charge of formulating requests up to a point. As I mentioned earlier, often we will add some breakdown for the issue or realize that we need to do additional research when we plan for the sprint. That is why that padding when doing the project estimate. And aside from that, product owner will be in charge of keeping the backlog clean, helping Scrum Master determine priorities for the sprint, and ensure that top value tasks are addressed first. And finally, sixth question. How do you find monitoring control quality in your project? I find it absolutely necessary. It is ensuring that the definition of done has been respected. Also, it is crucial part of deployment process so that bugs are not migrated to production environment. In this, I'm OCD driven, as I noticed long time ago that proper work and Q&A makes managing the client expectations and scope creep much easier. I often had the situations where the client finds a minor error or two, and then along with them adds to the scope other stuff that we cannot really decline without becoming confrontational or losing his faith. And in the end, I'm not sure if I breached the limit already, but I wanted to point out that I'm always trying to think outside of the box and to find the optimal tool, optimal solution for something. So even though I'm very familiar with agile methodologies, Scrum, Kanban, Lean, and so on, I would do my best to create a custom implementation that suits the company processes and workflow. Hence, as I was perfecting myself as a project manager and learning more about content writing, marketing, development, and all other areas where a successful project manager needs to be experienced. In time, I've reached the level of consultant and business process optimization expert. So it was kind of a logical step from from building myself as a professional in project management. When I kind of got some ground there, it was very small leap to proceed with consulting and higher level of organization. Thank you very much for your video. I really enjoyed it. I hope my video will be up to par or at least close. And I'm looking forward to talking with you further. Goodbye and have a nice day.